Senator McDonald.
Having access to reliable, safe roads is crucial to businesses, farms and families in regional parts of Queensland, but in many places it's more a case of wishful thinking. Very few places typify this more than the Kuranda Range Road west of Cairns in far north Queensland. And I would like the senators present to imagine desperately needing to get to hospital, work, school or catching a plane, and the only way to get there is 11 kilometres of winding, accident-prone, heavily congested road. At the time of Cyclone Yasi, the road was gridlocked, an emergency exit blocked. Now imagine there's a head-on collision ahead, traffic is backed up in front and back, the clock is ticking. Your only alternative is to wait and hope the debris are cleared quickly, or do a U-turn and drive an hour to the nearest thoroughfare, hoping there isn't another accident there. What if you're in the back of an ambulance in cardiac arrest? What if you're about to give birth? What if you're heading to a potentially life-changing interview? This is the reality facing thousands of people in North Queensland needing to get to Cairns on the Kuranda Range Road. This 11-kilometre stretch is the main entry point to Cairns from the Atherton Tablelands, Gulf and Cape York. This is a huge area comprising the bustling town of Mareeba and other towns such as Dimbula and Chillagoe in the vast Savannah region. Further north we have the communities of Lakeland, Laura and Cohen, then the cattle stations and Aboriginal communities. Cairns is the major regional centre for all of them, and most people in these outlying areas need to get to Cairns several times a year. But apart from the permanent residents, about 80,000 tourists visit Cape York, using Cairns and Mareeba as launch pads, and most of these people start their Cape journeys on the Kuranda Range Road. Just this month, the Cairns Post reported that the road was closed 130 times in the 2018-19 financial year. If there was only one access point to Brisbane and it was closed this often, it would have been fixed very quickly. But Gulf and Cape communities are being ignored. They already face complete isolation in the annual wet season, where nothing and no one can get in or out via land routes. But when the roads are open, they then have to hope that the Kuranda Range is clear. Kuranda Range Road has an average weekly cost of $871,992 due to fatalities, hospitalisations, injuries and property damage. There are, on average, 2.5 fatalities per year, 1.2 hospitalisations per week, 1 injury every 4 days, 1.3 vehicles damaged every week. Nearly 9,000 vehicles per day traverse the road, and this already exceeds its designated daily capacity by 1,686 vehicles. At last count, there are 1.3 unplanned closures per week, and the economic loss on this is yet to be costed, but it will be significant. The nearest alternate route, Gillies Highway, is 91 kilometres away, but nearly once a month this alternate route has an unplanned closure at the same time. It's not just people who rely on the Kuranda Range Road. Businesses stake their reputations and viability on it. Mareeba Mayor Tom Gilmore, who's a long-standing servant to the North and who has long advocated for this project, tells me that it is costing millions and millions of dollars a year of economic activity in the Cape, Tablelands and Gulf, who depends on this road, and he has already seen negative impacts of projects that cannot proceed. A proposed 200-room eco-resort development at the top of the Kuranda Range is on hold because the Department of Transport and Main Roads has concerns about the increased traffic the resort would cause, which means jobs in Cairns and the surrounding community. The bends on the road are so tight that B-double trucks have to unhitch one of their trailers, make one trip, then turn around, pick up the other trailer, bring it up or down, and then hitch it up again. Some may say that the far north's population can't support major government expenditure on roads, but this is not about existing population. It's about potential. There will always be more development, population growth, tourism and traffic, but the far north is being hamstrung because the Queensland Labor government has been sitting on a report since 2004, that's 15 years, that investigated options for getting traffic up and down the range more safely and efficiently. Far North Queensland ROC's assessment of impact states that modern freight-efficient vehicles will seek alternate routes and possibly draw business away from Cairns. This could affect the economic performance of the Atherton Tablelands, Cape York Peninsula and Gulf of Carpentaria due to increasingly uncompetitive freight prices. Industries likely to be particularly affected are agriculture and mining. It beggars belief that Cairns and the entire far north, Cape, Gulf and Tablelands is being held to ransom by its own Labor state government that is more interested in getting people to work in Brisbane 2 minutes faster on the Cross River Rail, but won't invest in a road that is so pivotal to a whole region and its people. The Far North Queensland Regional Organisation of Councils has lobbied government for years to act on this road, and this group's comprehensive studies and reports found increased freight costs and loss of economic development activities, an inability to accommodate urban and economic growth, increased travel time and cost, loss of tourism trade, reduced access for residents to services located in Cairns, and poor reliability. In 2004, again 15 years ago, it was found the existing road had severe geometric and structural inadequacies that result in poor safety, poor economic performance, so travel times, vehicle operating costs and the inability to accommodate freight-efficient vehicles, poor reliability, capacity problems that restrict growth at even modest rates and certainly prohibit orderly urban development on the northern tablelands, the inability to accommodate freight-efficient vehicles and consequential excessive costs of freight transport. The Department of Main Roads, in the terms of reference for the Integrated Transport Study, identified the existing Kuranda Range Road that it is likely to experience unacceptable levels of service for road transport by 2005 if current growth continues. And those growth rates have far exceeded the estimated rates that were recorded then. It has a poor safety record. It has inadequacies in alignment, road width, drainage, potential for tree falls, accommodating emergency vehicles when the road is blocked by accidents, earth slips or tree falls, and is a barrier to fauna movement and experiences large numbers of roadkill. Far North Queensland ROC estimates that $21 million is needed for a strategic assessment and business case, and I fully support them in seeking this funding. Any work done on the Kuranda Range Road should be done with a view to improving the capacity of infrastructure and transport systems to respond to new and emerging challenges and pressures, and to lessen the need for high-cost new infrastructure. Improving the environmental performance of infrastructure and transport systems, including mitigating adverse environmental effects such as transport emissions, and continuing a focus on transport safety. And of course, it should be added that any work must be done sooner rather than later.